I didn't have a bad day. I didn't have a bad week. I had a bad month. July 2021 is without a doubt the worst month period of my life, period. July sucked for me. Absolutely sucked. But how do you get over a bad month? How do you get over a bad week? How do you get over a bad day? Let me just say right off the bat that bad days are relative. A bad day for me could be absolutely nothing for you. A bad day for me could be absolutely devastating to somebody else going through the same thing. A bad day for me might be nothing to a person who lives in another country, in another continent. A bad day for you may be a piece of cake for me. You get the idea. Bad days are relative. But no matter what it is, it's you that's having the bad day no matter what it is. I had a bad month. My wife left me for a month. She came back. It was planned, sort of. She left me for a month. She had to go and deal with family situation in Canada, so she was in another country. Her trip there was absolutely horrendous. She spent 30 some hours awake just trying to get to Maine, to rent a car, to pass over the border through COVID protocol and get into the country in New Brunswick, Canada. It was absolutely crazy for her. And I started tiling the kitchen. I went out into the kitchen, I took a big hammer and I slammed it down and I broke one of the tiles right in the middle of the kitchen, which meant I was committed to tearing up every tile in the kitchen and putting down a new floor. What would have taken a professional was probably maybe 3 days. What would have taken an amateur maybe would have been a week. What it took me was 4 weeks because I spent one day doing something and I spent the next 2 days fixing the mistake that I did the day. It was absolutely the worst day. I didn't have a stove, so I had to eat out. I could go on and on and on, but it was a bad day, week, month for me. Absolutely horrendous. Now, how do you get over a really bad day? Well, let's think for a sec what the Olympics can teach us about bad days. Realize that most everybody at the Olympics, as far as the Olympic athletes go, most everybody there, guess what they're doing? They're not winning. Some are just thrilled to be there, and I would be thrilled to be there. As would many of all of us would be thrilled to be there. But most of them aren't going to walk home with a medal. Most of them, for some of them, a bad day was getting silver. But for others, a bad day or an absolutely amazing day would be winning silver. They say the worst place to be in the Olympics is fourth place because you're just out of the medals. But we're going to take a look at 3 ways that you can get over a really bad day, week, month, whatever it is. First of all, take a minute and breathe. That always helps. First, there's the idea that the obstacle is the way. Wait a minute. The obstacle is what's giving me a bad day. Well, the obstacle is the way. I'm going to read this because it's small print and I want to get it right. The obstacle is the way is a concept. It is the inspiration from Stoicism, the ancient Greek philosophy of enduring pain or adversity with perseverance and resilience. Stoics focus on the things they can control, let go of everything else, and turn every new obstacle into an opportunity to get better, stronger, tougher. I like that idea. If you look at your bad day saying, this is an obstacle, and this is what I'm going to have to go through to get stronger, better, tougher, that's a pretty good way to look at an obstacle. I had to look at this tiling project as I'm done on July 30th. Now, why was I done on July 30th? Because my wife is coming home on July 30th. Excuse me. My wife is coming home on July 30th. I had to have it done. But look at having a bad day, because anybody that's having a bad day realizes that it's the obstacle. There's an obstacle there, and that's what's making the day bad. So think about that. Second, focus on the finish. In the Olympics, what are we looking at? People focusing on the finish. This is Randolph Ross Jr. He represented the U.S. this year. He ran the 400. He had the fastest time of the 400 this year. He was expected to go to the finals, probably medal, if not get the gold. However, during his heat, you know what he did? Just before the finish line in his heat, the top two automatically move on. It doesn't matter about time. You just had to be in the top two. And he was clearly in second place with just a fraction of a second before passing, and he led up. He led up his pace just enough for about 2 steps for 2 people to pass him. That means he didn't get second in an automatic pass. He got 4th place in his heat, and because of times of the other heats, there were 8 heats, I believe. Guess what happened to him? His Olympics were done. That was a bad race. Focus on the finish. My daughter ran track in high school, and I ran track in high school. She ran track in high school, and I never missed a meet when she was in track, and we sat in the bleachers, and I said, watch these people as they come to the finish line, and I showed her how 3, 4, or 5 people stopped running with just a fraction of a second before passing over the finish line. And I said, your finish line is 10 feet past that finish line. Run through the finish. And that's what you need to do. You need to run through the finish. The third thing is this: everybody has a next step. And look at it that way. You have a next step. Whatever you've got going on, however bad your day may be, realize that it is relative. It is relative. People are having far worse days than you. You have a next step. So either escape, run from the obstacle, or embrace it and find out those next steps. I'm Bill McConnell. Once you conquer yourself, everything else becomes possible. Check out billmcconnell.me/70dd to get a 70-day dare. I dare you to do this for 70 days.